Hey there, everybody. This is Kristin from Teaching Balance, and I am here with this week's mindfulness meditation practice. We are in the month of July, which is the month of stillness. Hopefully, that feels resonant for you when it comes to summer break, summer vacation, or just summer in any respect that feels like it connects for you. And one of the things that I wanted to touch on within this theme of stillness is to talk a little bit about being still in nature. Now, stillness doesn't have to have that literal, like you're literally frozen kind of thing. It doesn't have to look like that. But what I really do mean more is a quality of mental stillness and presence. And of course, that can absolutely take the form of not being in physical motion, but it is more the presence piece that I'm really inviting you to embrace this month. Now, as I mentioned, this idea of nature, hopefully, there is an opportunity that if you haven't already, and you will, have an opportunity to be out in nature in some capacity. And whether you live very much in an urban area and there are parks nearby, or if you have the opportunity to actually go into a larger, more expansive, like backwoods, if you will, bigger kind of nature experience, that's all, even that's also really great and all the better. And so I wanted to bring this up to you because, as you can imagine, whether you've had this experience directly or not, although I would imagine you have, being in nature can be very nourishing. It can be very calming. And also, of course, very exhilarating and breathtaking and inspiring and all of those things too. It doesn't have to be the sort of more, slower, inward, contemplative types of things. They could also have a quality of stimulation as well. And so this is certainly something that I've found for me, and I do try to get outside and get into areas where I'm in trees. And some people are also really big fans of this idea of grounding. I think that's just what it's called, where you just take your shoes off and allow yourself, whether you're seated or just standing, to have a direct connection between the soles of your feet and grass or soil or whatever, sand, what might be the case. And so the value of having that grounding connect you with the earth, and some people describe how it really can have an impact on you physiologically, helping to calm you, down regulate you, and everything else. The other idea that I want to share with you that you may or may not have heard of is this idea of something called forest bathing. And it actually has a Japanese name, and I have to read it. It's Shinrin-yoku. Shinrin in Japanese means forest, yoku means bath. And so the idea is that you are bathing in the forest atmosphere. And I'm looking down because I actually have a book about this. Not surprising. This one is the Japanese Art and Science of Shinrin-yoku, forest bathing. I don't know if you'll see that backwards or if you'll see it normally. But I'm a big fan of that and have a lot of roots in my childhood being surrounded by trees and being in a forested area, in spite of the fact that I grew up in suburban Long Island, New York. So that's my invitation to you this week, is to seek out some stillness very intentionally in a nature context. Again, it could just be a little pocket park in your neighborhood where you're just, on the ground, perhaps under the shade of a tree, or if you're out in a more kind of larger landscape, whatever is convenient, whatever is appropriate, whatever really just is inspiring to you. And as you can imagine, what I'm going to invite you to do is to really do some of these practices that we have been describing over the course of this month, where you just pause, and whether you literally do that pause practice that we did last week, or you just allow yourself to just stop, take a breath, look around, check in with your senses, and just be deeply present to the natural beauty and all that it has to offer us. And so that is my invitation to you this week. So let's go ahead and do our practice. We're going to do 10 minutes just as we typically do, and I'm not going to bring in the nature piece. We're just going to do our regular practice. But if you wanted to, you could also play this while you're sitting under that shady tree or going for that walk in a natural environment. So, allowing yourself just to come into that quality of presence and natural awareness. Big part of that, of course, is dropping into your body, in particular below the chin, getting out of your head for these few minutes. Feeling what it feels like to be in your skin, feeling gravity, feeling the support of whatever surface you're sitting or lying on. And as a way to even further facilitate and support that sense of embodiment and being in your body, let's go ahead and take a few deep breaths. Letting the belly expand, filling up the lungs from the bottom, and then expelling that air from the top till all the air is out. Which inspires yet another deep breath. And remembering that you can always come back to that deeper breathing if you care to, as a way to reground. If you're having a hard time focusing and settling, I encourage you to circle back to that deeper breathing as a way to help you to physically calm and downregulate your system, which of course helps you to at least a little bit be a little bit more mentally calm. You know you can rest your awareness on the breath. We haven't talked about it in a while, so just noticing where you feel your body breathing most easily. You know you're breathing, of course, but if you didn't know, what sensations would indicate that you're breathing? Rising and falling of your chest or abdomen. The cool sensation of the air on your inhalation and the warm, humidified air around your nose and mouth on your exhalation. And of course, watching your breath or resting your awareness on any other anchor, it isn't very interesting. It doesn't give your mind all sorts of fun diversions and things to do, but that's of course the idea. But I say that because inevitably your mind is going to wander to something more diverting, interesting, and stimulating. And I want you to expect that, not feel bad about it. And when it inevitably happens, just notice and then bring your attention back to the breath or whatever other anchor you're resting your attention on. You may notice that the breath has somewhat of a wave-like quality. There's a gentle rising on the inhale And descending on the exhale. So if that is interesting to you, appealing to you, you can think of yourself as riding the wave of your breath, like you would ride very gentle swells of waves on the ocean. And throughout this and any of our practices, being very gentle with yourself, not putting pressure on yourself to achieve some sort of result or do it right or have it be like that other time. We want to be really gentle, compassionate, and accepting of just however it is, which is a bit of a challenge in and of itself, and not how we often really think. So if that resonates with you, allow yourself just to play with that quality of acceptance and gentleness as you rest your awareness on the breath or whatever other anchor you'd like to rest it on. So let's sit in silence for a little bit and I'll check in until we hear that final bell. Noticing where the mind is, wherever it might be, allowing yourself just to bring to that awareness a quality of gentleness, kindness, and acceptance. And then just coming back for that last minute or so of rest, where you get to rest your attention on the present moment. Give yourself a break from thinking, planning, fixing, and responding. Let's just rest. that's our 10 minutes. So this week's invitation is to seek some stillness while being in nature, whatever that means to you and wherever you can find it. And again, if you were interested in that idea of forest bathing, there's a lot of stuff out there about it, believe it or not. But the other term for it, the Japanese term, is Shinrin Yoku. Forest bathing. It's good stuff. All right. Well, as always, thank you so much for taking this time for yourself. Thank you so much for allowing me to accompany you on this journey, and I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.